Howdy folks, Jake here. We're at the home farm at Wamargama. I'm here with
Otto.
And we are building,
Worm farm.
I'm going to call these Willy Walke's wonderful worm warehouses. We love a mouthful here. This is just an IBC tote, 1,000 litre water carrying tote. We've got some food grade ones. We've got a hook up in town. These actually come from a sweets factory, so they're used to carrying things like caramel and stuff in them. And we've gone around and we've cut them with the angle grinder. We've cut this top section off. And then that comes off, and then you knock all the legs off them and you end up with just a nice, do you understand? This is that piece. And then I marked it with a texter, pulled the bladder out. I cut the bladder off with the angle grinder. And then the top piece that I cut out, it's hard to get around these corners with the angle grinder. There's some of the caramel left in there. I'm gonna hose this out before I throw worms in it, get all the plastic out. But you cut a little archway here, so it slips over this. Done, that's the base. And now what we're doing is, we've actually got some leftover materials. This is from my bike shop in town. So this will let water through. This is an old sign. We'll cut this up and use this. This will let water through, but it won't let much debris through, and it won't let worms through. And we're going to cover this bottom with that. I'm going to bunch some up into the corners, tuck it into the corners, have a whole piece over the whole bottom. And then we're going to be putting in some compost. It's cold. The worms don't want a 70-degree Celsius compost pile. So this is just cow manure and wood chips. Stop tapping please, Otto. A little while ago, I got a phone call from one of the local salvyards asking if they could dump their bedding in, and they assured me it's clean. And we've had, probably, yeah, Otto's probably right. We've probably had 50 cubic meters of this stuff delivered to our Thaguna farm. The only thing that's in it that is not clean is the odd rock, but there's been no syringes. Like, you know, I've done a little bit of this. I used to shovel manure out of the horse stables for a bit of compost years ago for our garden, and I end up with, you know, farrier's tools and syringes and old shoes and all sorts of things, but this has been really good so far. So this manure is going in with the wood chips. We've got straw here. I've got a junk bale back there tucked away. I'm gonna get the shovel into, this is the little paddock where we hold the jerseys, and we'll be getting some fresh manure and kitchen scraps, and we'll be throwing in the worms. So I'm gonna put in all these worms. This is 3 kilos of compost worms. So we've got reds, blues, and tigers. And this is enough to stock all 3 of these worm farms. But today, where are we, guys? There is a heap in here, but they go down where it's cold and there's no sunlight. They're good sized worms, but we'll put them all in this one compost bin today, worm farm today, because I'm not going to get all 3 built, and we need to get them tucked away and safe and cozy. And then when I knock these up over this weekend, I dare say, we'll just grab some worms out and slip them over. Don't forget, where do you put my lid, Otto? I just had my lid here. Here it is. All we're going to do with this is take some more of that screening, that mesh that I showed you in the back of our buggy, and I'm just going to make a tight piece over the top of that, and I'm just going to cable tie it onto the ends. So you can imagine that with a piece of shade cloth essentially over the top, nice and neat. And then we can just...
Are you going to weld it on?
No, we're not going to weld it. We'll just sit it on the top. Just like that. And then it's just a nice, neat lid. I wonder how that sits the other way. I wonder how it sits if we do it upside down, Otto. Is it any better, or...? If you sit it upside down, it sits all right. Maybe the other way is better. But that'll just be a bit of a top on it. We don't mind if rain comes in. Like, what's an enormous rain event, right? An enormous rain event might be 100 mil. We're not going to drown our worms. They're going to be fine. If we need to dump out liquid in a hurry, we can just pump it out, let it pump out there just by opening that. Doesn't require any mechanical intervention. Gravity will do that. And rainwater is the best water, and we'll be very happy for that to flush through and create us some compost. And then what we do once the worm juice comes out here, because at the moment I've been buying it as a concentrate and diluting it and spraying it on the farm. I'd love to have enough to just throw it out neat. It needs to be filtered very finely, because I can imagine I'm going to be dragging out a lot of compost and castings through there. And these boomless spray nozzles have very fine holes in them. So this is called a boomless jet nozzle. Don't know what the brand is, sorry guys. It's a 16 meter spray unit. So all I've got here is an IBC, another IBC. We fill this up with liquid, and we whatever compost tea or worm juice we're using. I've just got a little pump here. Just tell your shop you want a boomless jet nozzle and a pump to suit. I just got a little Chinese Honda knockoff. That was 400 bucks, I think, for that whole setup. Already had the trailer, 50 bucks. Already had the tote, 50 bucks. But ironically, here we go, let's do the math. The trailer cost me $50. The buoy cost me a fortune. The IBC tote cost me 50 bucks, but I already had them, so we're $100 then. You're worth every cent, buddy.
Oi.
These aren't cheap. These are, don't know, 150 bucks and 300 odd for the motor. So we're up to $450 for this assembly setup. And then all I did, initially I cable tied this straight onto the IBC, but it actually sprays backwards quite a lot. So you can see the angle of the machining there, can you? Let's have a look. Maybe if we shine it from the back, Otto. See how that angle comes all the way back? It's like this angle. So it doesn't, you would think looking at it that it'd have an 180 degree spray. It's probably more like a 270 degree spray. So I just quickly welded up this. Look how good my welding is. I'm a exceptional welder. Look at that. Eat your heart out. I just threw it on the top with some tie downs and just pushed it forward a bit. Works really well now. And you know, ideally I'd love to be creating so much of this worm juice that I could just go around the farm a couple of times a year, throw it out neat, or maybe cut with water 50% or aerated with a compost tea. I've already done these paddocks each, and I've actually probably done about 80% of our pastures in the last 2 weeks. We just do a foliage application earlier in the morning. What do they call it? The breathing cells of the leaves. Is it a stomata? Something like that. You want to get the juice on when they're active. So before midday, I've read, is the best time to get that up for the plant to really metabolize it. But you know, just do what you can. A bit pragmatic. Good's better than best. Anyway, that's our worm setup. We're going to get what have you got here? It's just wood. Oh, you got some caterpillars. Wow. They look pretty cool.
Don't touch them because they'll spike you.
Yeah, they could be the little fire spitters, couldn't they? Anyway, we'll get this mesh in now, get some bedding in there, get the worms in, tuck them in, throw a roof on it, and tomorrow we'll knock the other two over. Part of my sniffling. I've been fabricating, and it always seems to get up my nose a bit. We've got a big push. I want to get the worm farm set up. I want to get a few beehives here. I've got my eggmobiles coming here or one of them coming here, hopefully Wednesday this week coming, and then pigs not too far after that, because we've got our first event at this new property, October 26th this year, 2024. And then I've got which is my wife's, discussing motherhood, holistic mothering, maternity, pregnancy event. She did one 2 years ago. It was a raving success. We've got another one of those coming up. And then the following weekend, which is November 2nd, we've got our homestead agronomy event with Dave Bushell and Jim Alexander. So we just, we want to get our gear here. We've got all these enterprises and animals and structures and things going on, but they're spread out all over our lease farm. So we're just trying to get a taste of everything, appropriate to the scale of this land. We want to get a taste of everything here so people can come and experience what we're doing and, incorporate that community aspect, which is great way to meet people, great way to make connections, and great way for customers to continuously audit you. We don't have any certifications. I'm not too interested. I would rather constant consumer auditing, rather than bureaucratic accreditations. And it's also a great marketing aspect to let people come onto your land and see what you do, and get boots on the ground and touch and feel and smell and meet. There's no better marketing than that. We've also got to move those cattle this afternoon, so we've got a bit on. Thanks for watching, guys.